What's up, YouTube? I am Brandon Red here with Ramen Noodle Budgets, finally doing my most requested video, I think, of all time on this channel. And that is going over my Star-Lord cosplay. Now, obviously you can't see it, I'm going to have full shots of the costume, but I'm wearing pretty much everything. I got the Walkman, the belt, the pants, we got the rocket controls, the amazing, incredible jacket. The only thing I'm not wearing is the shirt, because that is currently in the wash, and the communicator, which literally just flew off because I guess the magnets decided to break off of the 3D print. But I'm going to go over every single thing I've bought, everything I've made, which is the majority of the costume was made, except for the jacket, obviously, because I cannot sew something this incredible. But yeah, we're going to go over everything, and I'm going to talk about the best places to get things, discounts you can get, and all that jazz. So yeah, let's get started, guys. I'm here at my kind of kitchen table with a whole bunch of shit. Pardon my French. Also, if you're wondering what the whole crazy facial hair is, it's actually for this costume. I am displaying it at Wizard World Chicago on August 26th. So if you see me there, guys, hit me up. It's going to be amazing. I'm really proud of this costume. I've spent so much money on it. Also, if you notice, I'm wearing the same outfit as another video that may or may not get uploaded depending on whether or not Walmart follows through. It is because these are filmed on the same day, and that would be the Harry Potter wand mystery wand unboxings, which is a whole fiasco. You guys will see it in that freaking video of us trying to find that. Let's start off right away with the main centerpiece of this costume, and that is le jacket. This jacket actually comes from white sheep leather, and I bought it back in May. It was right around when Infinity War came out, because I had just finished my Infinity War cap, which you can see here. I'm so upset I never did a video about it. I really wish I would have done a video for you guys on it, but I was lazy, of course. I just never filmed it. But because of how much I love that costume, I decided to go with White Sheep Leather's Star-Lord jacket as well. And I apologize, guys, if I'm doing too many hand movements. I know I get it a lot. It's just something I do. But the jacket, as you can see in these close-up videos, it's extremely detailed. It is using their stretch leather, or their stretch textured cotton, I believe, or lycra, and their leather, which is incredible as well. It is a very kind of soft leather, but it is quite thick, so it does get hot quickly. Luckily, as you can see, the jacket's interior is lined with a mesh fabric, which is super, super nice for these conventions, especially since I go to ones that normally take place in the summer. So I did give them my custom measurements for this jacket, and it fits beautifully except for the waist. And from what I talked about with people in the Star-Lord cosplayers group, is that the waist actually is meant to be quite tight, and I thought I was just getting really fat because it was the same measurements I used for my other suits, and those fit fine. But I guess they did it on purpose. They kept, they made the waist super tight, because that's how it's supposed to look in photos. The only issue is with that is that it does not fit over the belt and the belt buckle as it should, from reference photos from the film. My belt has to sit under it. So what I think I'm going to do is, I watched a whole bunch of tutorials on how to stretch leather. I'm just going to get this whole waist wet, like with hot water, and then put a comfort in it, and then leave it overnight. Hopefully it'll stretch about, like, all I need is like an inch and a half to fit that belt buckle, and then it'll be gorgeous. So that is the jacket. Now this did cost about, I think, $300 and something. It is definitely the most expensive piece in this build, but it is the crown jewel of this costume, guys. It is absolutely gorgeous, and I would definitely recommend it. Some other websites you can go to are Cosplay Sky. I do have a discount code from them, which by the way, I will have a video up. They did complimentary sent me a General Hux costume. I did a whole tutorial on that. I just never uploaded it for some reason. So that's coming up. That will be, the discount code will be in the description, and then also in that video. But other than that, there's a company called Big Effects Props. I hope I am saying that right. That's just off the top of my head. I will put the link in the description below. But they make a little bit more accurate jacket than this. It's very similar. The only difference is they, instead of using a textured stretched lycra, they use a screen printed fabric that is exactly the same one seen on the screen. And then they use a little bit more fabric back on this chuck section of the jacket. So if you want to get it like 100%, theirs is I think about $400 something. Also off the top of my head, I don't know, guys. But as I said, I will leave the link in the description below. Both are incredible options. Cosplay Skies is okay. It's not bad. It is definitely on the cheaper side. I think the jacket alone is $100 and something. That is definitely a great way to go. I'm not saying it's a bad object. I'm just saying if you want more accurate, I would go with either these two company, white sheep leather. Next piece of my costume I actually got the most recently, and that is the pants. Now, before anyone says it, yes, these are not Volume 2 pants. This cosplay kind of got mixed and matched. My original pants I was going to modify were these red moto pants they were originally white, I think, and I dyed them. They're these jeans that have this textured section. There are quite a few videos on YouTube from Zombie's channel, and someone else did it, and I'll link the tutorial below. They do incredible work, guys. I recommend their videos highly because I actually used quite a few of their techniques. But I wasn't digging the pieces I was sewing on there, so I actually removed all the pieces, and I'm just using these as pants at the moment. But there is a slight rip on them, but it actually worked out because it looks like you would get like a ripped pair of pants from the store. So after that, I decided to go with these Manles, and the brand is called Manles, M-A-N-L-E-S, and they are the Volume 1 pants. Now, they're incredibly accurate to the Volume 1, and Volume 2 obviously is a little different. The thing that people don't know about the Volume 2 pants is that they're actually two different pairs throughout the film. They kind of randomly change. It's one of those weird errors, but people kind of just don't notice it because it's really not noticeable. That's why I kind of decided to do this. In Infinity War, he wears a very similar pair of pants to these. So I decided to say, hell, I'll probably just do an Infinity War Volume 2 kind of mix up. And it seems to work out really well. In photos, I've never gotten any complaints about it. I think it looks incredible with this jacket. I like it a little bit more because it's like almost like an olive color. It's a little bit of a darker green, like navy, I don't know what the color is, like military green. And it contrasts the jacket really well for big effects props. As you can see here, these are my rocket controls that are conveniently attached with magnets. I 3D printed these recently. There's the file on Thingiverse, and I also have these on my Etsy shop, which most of the stuff is going to be on my Etsy shop, including the entire costume, which I'll talk about at the end of the video. But check that out. These work really, really well. They're a little less accurate. They don't have the lines, and of course, they don't have the LEDs. I didn't want to implement that much work into this cosplay because electronics are really hard. Well, they're not really hard, but for doing something small like this and something on the pants that won't be seen in photos often, because usually it's waist up when I get photos with people, I didn't think it was that important, but it does really add a pop to the lower half of my costume. So I'm really glad I made these, and I think they look really great. Now, I forgot to talk about this. This was actually technically the first thing I acquired for this costume, and it is the Marvel Legends Star-Lord helmet. Now, the problem is, by the time this video is out, these are almost impossible to get in any store. When I first looked around and went to all the Toys R Us's, those are all closed now, but I remember seeing one when these first were unlimited or were released. I went to all the Toys R Us's, they had them, and then I didn't really want them at the time. GameStop had them as well. And then I went recently to go look because I wanted it for my costume, and they were nowhere. No, GameStop didn't have them. I think Target had them at one point. But it is a Bluetooth speaker helmet. It opens in the back like this, and it has electronics. Now, this helmet is pretty fantastic. This cost me $100. Right now, they're going for about $200 and something on Amazon, which is quite pricey. I don't know if you can go with any better because I've never really looked into them. I used to have the X-Coster helmet, which I repainted. But this was a great option. Unfortunately, I'm not going to be wearing this to the convention. When I did Kylo Ren, I wore a helmet to an entire convention, and it was hell for me. I couldn't see much, especially with these. These lenses are they're kind of hard to see through. As you can kind of tell, it is very tinted red, and with the lights on, it gets even more difficult. So, and I like showing off my face, unfortunately, and I put too much effort into growing out this horrible beard that I have to still shave into like the triangular sideburns. And I think I'm going to be doing a wig as well, but that's not set yet. So I didn't want to wear this, but it is an incredible option if you're doing a Star-Lord helmet. There are a whole bunch of other options though. You can actually 3D print your own. There's a whole bunch of videos on how to do that. You can make your own out of foam or Papycura. And then there's a lot on Etsy as well that are incredible quality, which I unfortunately couldn't afford. Though I really could afford it, I just didn't want to afford it because I could buy other things at the time. Now, the one thing I don't have displayed right now because it is in the wash is my Star-Lord shirt. It is the Volume 2. It says gear. It looks like it says gear. No, it does say gear shift. A lot of people think it says yeah baby, but it does say gear shift on the shirt in some other Guardians of the Galaxy language. It is an awesome shirt. The only problem is it does curve out at the bottom like a bell shape, and I'm not sure why they decided to go with that. Both that I bought, I thought I bought a messed up one. Both have that, So I kind of just said, I'll use it, and I cover it with a jacket. And I think when I go to the convention, I'll leave the jacket unzipped because I like the way it looks better. And because when it's a little zipped, it kind of makes me look like it kind of pouches, especially since it's so tight, and can be a little bit of a pain in the ass to wear. So I think I'm gonna wear it open with that shirt. I might get the Mechoid shirt, or Merchoid. I don't know how to pronounce that correctly. It's a little more accurate. It's a little more blue, and it's a different material. It's almost like a Lycra Under Armour type shirt. So I think I might go with that. The next piece I decided to work on with my costume was the belt. Now, it's stuck to this. This belt, I was incredibly happy with how this came out. So this, I'm not sure if you can recognize it for people who actually work in the, want to do a costume like this. This is the, I believe it comes from Xcaster. I'm not 100% sure, but it's the $35 Amazon belt. It did not look like this when it came. It is pretty similar, but it was not exactly the same. It came with a different belt buckle, didn't have the hip pads. The color is completely different. This is that belt. So what I decided to do with it was I 3D printed this Volume 2 belt buckle, which I got off Thingiverse. I printed it in ABS and then acetone vapor smoothed it. Used some filler putty and then sanded it, chromed it, and then used, didn't chrome it, well, spray painted it silver. And then used some black weathering and some airbrushing. And then basically what was on the original belt is, so the real belt in the film has these kind of, sorry about the lighting, that light in the back is horrible. There are these kind of triangular pieces that go next to the belt buckle. This belt has them, but they are hidden underneath this. Like whoever stitched them together didn't do it right. But they originally implemented it into the belt. It's really obvious that they did. So when I took off the belt buckle, which was a metal one, you had to cut these two, and then I folded the pieces around and then super glued everything down, and that seemed to have worked really well. Nothing is flying up, nothing's sticking around. I then decided to use some Angelus leather paints, and I don't know if you can really tell the difference here because the lighting is horrible. This belt was a lot darker when I got it, and Star-Lord's belt is almost kind of a lighter medium brown. So I got some Angelus paints, mixed those up, and painted this whole thing, and then used an airbrush to really outline some of these curves, as you can see there. To the hip pads. The hip pads, I actually followed Zanzombi's tutorial. I hope I'm pronouncing that right as well. I will put a link to her video in the description. And one other guy who, I'm sorry, I didn't take notes. I'm kind of just doing this off the top of my head. He had an incredible whole tutorial on how to do the hip pads or how he did them. And I followed his tutorial, and they turned out great. Like, the underside is not the prettiest because this is 2mm EVA foam, and this is also, these rectangles are also 2mm. And this is a faux leather, which I put on with contact cement and tried to stitch, but the stitching hated it. My machine basically hated this. Like, it did not want to continue in certain spots and was ripping the foam up and the faux leather. So I ended up just stitching around it on both to kind of get them symmetrical-ish. And then weathered the hell out of them and tried to get as much definition on the ribbed kind of pads as I could. These are 3D printed holsters, actual for the blasters, which I'll go on to next. I love the blasters so much. These were, as I said, 3D printed, and I got the file off Thingiverse. They were originally made for the Nerf blasters, but what I did was I printed it in ABS, I broke one of these pieces off, and then moved it over a little bit, and then attached it with acetone, because acetone melts ABS, and they glue it together, and then acetone vapor smoothed it. And then after that was done, this thing is incredibly sturdy. And then I super glued it to the rest of the hip pad. Now, the belt originally had some kind of belt buckle in the back, but I decided to swap that with industrial Velcro because the belt was way too big, even with the original slots that they had there. Not even the smallest one didn't fit me. It was way too big and wouldn't keep the pants where it was supposed to be. So yeah, now on to one of my favorite things of the build, which I made myself, which are the My phone absolutely hates this stand. But the blasters. Now, I put so much work into these. I used to make these actually as a part-time job for Etsy. And I'm actually really proud of them. They were my top seller for a long time. They were enough to get me to go to Disney for a while. But yeah, so basically what these are, they're Ruby's blasters that have been completely modified. Basically all the holes that were originally there have been filled in, and obviously got a crazy new paint job, and the grips got carbon vinyl wrap, which really makes these guns pop. I finally got an airbrush, like a legit airbrush, and was able to do the, basically the whole gun I did in airbrush. I used a metallic I used a Tester's metallic buffing powder, or not buffing paint that I airbrushed, and then I used Spaztics metallic, which in person it's a lot more metallic than you can see in this picture or in these videos. But when I first did this, it was like a mirror shine. I could see myself in the blaster's reflection, and that really also had to do with a lot of the sanding that I did. I tried to get these as smooth as I possibly could, and I did the rest of the paint, and I think they look gorgeous. I obviously did a whole bunch of brown and black washes to really get these kind of a mattified silver finish. Shop. Each blaster costs $60 completely finished, which is currently, I am proud to say, one of the cheapest on Etsy and one of the most accurate. So these actually fit into the holster. They flip around like so. There we go. Now they're officially snapped in. They aren't going anywhere. If it falls one more time, I'm going to literally shoot myself. This is the Walkman replica that I made. It is actually a functioning Walkman-ish. Currently, it is using the official Awesome Mix Volume 2 album, or cassette that I got off Amazon. I think it was $9. But this is not a Sony TPS L2, which I originally actually had last year for my original costume, but I sold it. This is a BM12, and it is called a portable dictator. I'm not sure if it came out after the TPS L2 or just around the same time, but they are almost the exact same build except for the countdown thing, which I think I'm still going to Bondo over and then paint over. But this thing was originally silver. It was a pretty similar color to this. It was kind of like a spotchy metallic silver color. I decided to paint over the whole thing and then mask this off. And I still have to get decals that say Sony and Walkman. But yeah, I was really happy with how this turned out. This was like a weekend build. It took me a while to actually try and fix. I had to replace the belts on this thing, but there are a lot more issues. As you can tell, that's not a belt issue, it's a motor issue. And the motor, if I bang it yeah, basically it's messed up, but it looks great. For the headphones, I was actually gifted these from someone on my Tumblr who bought these for me, which is amazing. These are the X-Cosser headphones, and what the hell? Okay, they got tangled down there a little bit, but they do the job quite well. I think it looks pretty good in photos. It still, oh, it even sounds more evil in the headphones. But yeah, I wear this around the belt for the most part until I do photos, you know, with the holding in one hand, blaster in the other. I think that's what I'm going to do with this. So yeah, that is pretty much everything for my Star-Lord cosplay. Now, there obviously are a few things missing. I didn't show off the necklaces or the communicator because those aren't finished yet, but I will do a video if you guys really want me to. I am going to be doing a full tutorial on how to do the spats because I want to do a different method other than what other people on YouTube have been doing, where they've been using 2mm, 5mm foam. I want to go the same route, but in a different way, and you guys will see eventually what I'm talking about. Those aren't done. The boots, I have the Skechers. I have the accurate Skechers that they use the sole of the shoe for. The rest of the shoe apparently isn't accurate, but I wanted something that was pretty close. And then the rocket boots are being 3D printed as we speak. So that is the entire costume, and as I said, I am going to be displaying this at Wizard World Chicago in August 26th. I will confirm that in the comments. But I'm also going to Ace Comic-Con, the Chicago one, in October 13th, and I will be meeting Chris Evans, so I will have a whole new cap suit for that. I haven't decided which one I'm going to do yet, but I will have a whole actual video tutorial on that, or not video, but video review on all of the pieces like I just did for this one, and my Daredevil suit. And as I said, this costume is fully up on Etsy. It is $750, but this costume cost me well over $1,000, so it is a great deal for you guys. It'll ship out right after the convention. I have other pieces on there. I have the belts are made to order, the blasters are made to order, and I also have the necklaces, communicators, Wonder Woman shields, all that stuff. So you guys can check it out. I'll put my link in the description below for my Etsy channel. Check it out. I hope you guys like this video. Please subscribe, share, and I will have a new video up very soon, hopefully, on these Harry Potter wands if I ever get them. So thanks so much, guys, and I hope you guys have a great day.